Welcome to Yin Yoga. I'm Christy. Let's take a breath. So today we're going to contemplate stress. What does stress feel like? What does it feel like in your body? So through awareness, we can create change. When we're not aware of our stress, it's harder to minimize it. So we're still feeling the effects of our stress, right? It can still increase our inflammation, increase likelihood of illness, disrupt our sleep, on and on and on. But we're not always really aware because we're just so busy doing other things. Our consciousness is elsewhere. That, okay, speaking for myself, right? I don't really often recognize my stress until it's really high. So we want to really practice observing. What does stress feel like in my body? What are the signs? Because our nervous systems operate below our consciousness, right? They're constantly reacting and responding, but it's not like we're making that decision, right? Our bodies are just automatically making this decision how to respond to different stressors. So where was I going with that? So that's why it's hard to, I think, recognize what's happening sometimes, because it's just going on inside our bodies, just like new cells generating, right? We're not aware of new skin cells growing. We can see if we've cut ourselves, we can see it healing, but we're not really feeling that process usually. So the more we work on just an awareness of how we are, the more we practice, right? The better we get at anything that we practice. We may not ever be perfect at it, but we start to build some awareness. And so why is this important? Because the minute we recognize it, we can change things, right? We can help to reduce it. But also when we witness it, we'll start to notice it earlier. And we can also do things to help minimize our stress. We can be proactive and setting ourselves up for a healthier life. So how's your stress? Do you know how it is? Can you feel it? You may not be able to feel it in your body. You may not be able to recognize it. Maybe you've never thought about it before. Just notice, what are you experiencing in this moment? So if you know that you have stress, if you know your stress is high, how do you know that? Right? And these are just questions I ask myself. How do I know my stress is high? And how does that feel in my body? How does it feel in my mind? So in this moment, can you notice any sensations of stress? And you may be better at recognizing thoughts or moods that indicate stress than the sensations in the body. So how we experience stress, it's all completely different in what we notice. And I think it's no one single thing. We are these holistic, we're this integrated system of mind and body. So it can be, I'm cranky, I'm short-tempered, I'm angry, stuff like that. I'm feeling really worried, fearful about something. And sometimes it's really just more the physical tension, it's more just my shoulders feeling tight. Like my mood may be okay, but my body's just tensing up. All right, so we're just gonna try to contemplate this as we're moving into the practice. So so let's start with shoulders. Let's do a little bit of movement for shoulders here. I'm gonna shift and sit on my cushion. So just see if you can notice how your shoulders are. So mine are almost always tense. Sometimes they're less tense, but there's almost always some tension in there. And I can feel it in there, right? I can feel it. Today I can feel it like all into the front of my throat. And is this stress? Is it just, what's going on with us physically? It's all much more complex than we'd like it to be. Just notice, what do you feel? And as you tip your head forward, what happens in your neck? And will your shoulders move at all? Mine didn't used to move. So how are they? I'm just noticing what they are. And do you feel more tension in one shoulder than the other? For me lately, it's been more on this, what is my left side, which I often refer to as my right, since we're mirroring here in yoga. Okay, so let's do the right shoulder up, which is really my left shoulder, but now I'm going to call it my right shoulder. So we're going to bring the right shoulder up. We're going to let the head lean into the right shoulder, just tensing up those muscles, and then see if you can take your elbow out behind you and up towards the ceiling. So again, just tightening up those muscles going into the shoulder blade area. And then can you slowly let that arm come on down. So we're trying to really slow this down. We're trying to retrain our brains. Train them how to relax. So when we've been under chronic stress, we've experienced trauma, the nervous system gets dysregulated, so it more easily moves into fight, flight, or freeze, and it more easily gets stuck there. And we build these habitual patterns of tension. So we're trying to retrain the brain how to let go, because it doesn't know how to let go anymore, right? We built up so much stress, it doesn't know how to let go. So we're trying to train it how to let go. All right. We're going to let this right shoulder come up to the right ear again. Let the head lean in, and then that arm goes behind you. If it works better for you to take the arm straight out, just try to take that arm straight out. You're really it's like you're trying to bring the back of the upper arm up towards the ceiling to engage around the shoulder blade. So again, just this sense of creating like a fist in the shoulder, just tightening up those muscles, engaging those muscles a bit. And then seeing how slowly you can come on down. And then can you breathe? So the more tension we have, the harder that is to go slow, the harder it is for it to go smooth. So to go smoothly, it doesn't sound quite right. For the muscles to relax in a smooth fashion, right? There'll be like these little jerks, these little pauses in there, and that's that's okay. We just keep working on it. Everything in yoga is a practice. We just keep practicing, right? Like we just keep breathing. We never take one. Okay, that's the only breath I need for the day, right? We keep breathing. We keep practicing. Okay, so let's do one more time on this right side. We're going to bring this right shoulder up towards the right ear. So no, this is not exactly yin yoga, but we're just going to start to build some awareness here. And so that is yoga. And then see if you can take that elbow behind you or the arm behind you. Get that sense of muscles squeezing around the shoulder blade area. And then try to slowly go back down. Take a breath. And then can you observe, just as we're sitting still, can you notice any difference between the two shoulders? Maybe yes, maybe no. Some days I do, some days I don't. So today I really can feel this shoulder. It feels like it's up higher. So as you move now, yeah. Right, and this doesn't always happen that quickly for me, but today, like there's less tension in this side. So let's take it to the other side. We're gonna let the left shoulder come on up. Then we're gonna squeeze. So you're kind of squeezing your head and your shoulder in towards one another. And if your head doesn't feel good there, just bring it back up. Just bring the shoulder up, and then take the arm behind you. And we're just gonna explore that. So no perfect right way to do this. Oh, I got a nice little crack there. We're gonna try to engage the muscles and then work on this slow release. And it's all about what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. Seeing how slowly you can bring that arm down and let your head come back into its neutral position. And take a breath. All right, so again, we're gonna bring this shoulder, left shoulder up towards the ear, try to squeeze, take arm behind you. So today I'm feeling this a little bit differently, so my positioning is slightly different than I often do, just because of what I'm feeling. So go with it. And then we're working on that slow release, letting the shoulder, the arm slowly come back down. And then we're just noticing, are there those little jerks in there? Is it relatively smooth today? Are you able to go slowly, or is that just really difficult today? And so notice what else is happening for you. All right, we're gonna do it one more time. So something like, for me, I'm feeling this to be very calming today. You may find that it's annoying, that it's agitating, that it's really hard to go slow. And so that, typically tells us something about the state of our nervous system. So we're always looking for what's working in this moment. Okay, this isn't working, let me shift it. All right, we're gonna bring left ear up towards the left ear, left shoulder up towards the left ear. All right, and then arm out behind you. We're not gonna bring that ear up to the shoulder. And experience that. So just long enough to feel like you're tightening the muscles so that we can experience the muscles letting go, slow and easy. So for a lot of us, we know what tension feels like. We don't know what relaxation feels like. We don't know what relaxed muscles feel like. If I have a really good vacation, then I know, but in daily life, it's much harder. All right, and then just how does that feel today? So I'm just gonna tell you what I feel in this moment. I feel like I'm taller. I feel like there's a little more opening through the front, right? I was feeling all that tightness. And it's so fascinating to me how things connect up, right? So I didn't do anything really in this part of the body, right? It was all this shoulder and the back, right? But that all connects up. So I'm feeling taller, I'm feeling my shoulders are lower, and now I feel this one still feels a little bit higher to me, but they feel a little more equal. They feel like they're a little more able to move now. And so maybe that's true for you, maybe that's not true for you. There's no right or wrong. There's just what is. But I can also feel this little shift in my, like, I don't know really how to, like, the words to explain it, right? So this is why I'm saying that we need to pay attention to, or question, how do I know I'm stressed? What do I feel is stress? So I feel like there's this sort of inner calm settling in, so that when we're able to relax some of this, I'm going to call it habitual tension, in our bodies, in just just in this one, isolated area, relatively isolated area, that we can shift what's happening for us inside. So releasing this muscular tension is a huge piece of calming down our nervous systems, reducing our inflammation, helping our bodies to heal. So again, if you know that you have nervous system dysregulation, you've experienced a lot of chronic stress, you've experienced trauma, some of these, we're looking for what are the simple tools, these easy little things that I can do that feel okay for me, that I feel safe and comfortable doing to help me find a more balanced state. All right. And we get so critical of that. Yeah, I know for me, I can, I have often blamed myself for being so easily stressed or so intensely stressed. And, we have some control over it. I have some responsibility for that, but it's also just how our bodies work. So we want to work with our bodies and not blame them, not blame ourselves. That doesn't help. That tends to just make it worse. All right, so feet wide. Let's do a wide leg forward fold here. So this one we're gonna hold. We're gonna come into a yin pose now. And so looking for ways that you can support your body. So again, these supports can help our nervous system to calm down, which helps to release out this discomfort, this chronic tension. So everything is connected and all works together. We calm our nervous systems, we release tension, we calm our nervous systems, our bodies feel better, our minds feel better. So it's a beautiful thing, right? That we're able to have some control over what's going on. We may not have complete control, but we can have some control. We can shift things. So looking for what we can shift, how we can take care of ourselves. And so as we, again, try to get ourselves into a position where we're releasing out some of this muscle tension. Again, just contemplate, what does stress feel like in your body? And are you able to let some of that go? So as you watch your breath, as you hold still, is it possible? And so we're just questioning and we're working at it. Is it possible to let go of it here today? And that may be maybe that you need to remind yourself of the floor beneath you, your body supported. Sometimes just bringing your hands, your fingertips onto the floor can help your nervous system to feel steady. How can you support your body here with some props? And what does stress feel like? Can you let some of it out? So coming on up. And so as we're doing yin yoga, the other thing we want to witness is it hard? Is it hard to be still? Right? So for me in this moment, that was really calming. And maybe some of that was because I had my meditation cushion here that molds to me a bit, and I have this little bit of support. It's got a really soft fabric on it. But I know not every pose is calming for me. If things are really tight and uncomfortable, that can cause a little bit of stress. So if it's a little bit uncomfortable, then I can work on this, I don't know, that rebuilding resilience maybe is the right term or not. I can work a little bit on this learning to tolerate discomfort, right? Because our lives are going to be full of uncomfortable situations, experiences. So I can work on really staying calm as these experiences of a little bit of stress, a little bit of an instinct to maybe run starts to, the flee instinct comes in. So I can work on calming in that. But if the pose is really intense and really uncomfortable, then that's just going to make me more dysregulated, right? It's just like my body is just saying, nope, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. So we want to watch, what's my experience here? Is this calming? Am I able to let go a little bit? Is it on that edge where I can practice remaining calm while I'm under pressure? Or is this just not a good place for me to be in this moment, and I should listen to that instinct to get out of this pose? So also when we're dysregulated, we don't really know how to listen to what our bodies are telling us as much as when we're not dysregulated. So it's all complicated. So again, we just keep practicing. All right, let's see. I feel like I want to do a standing forward fold here. So let's just try to lengthen out our spines a little bit. We're gonna come up into a little bit of a standing forward fold. And so again, we're gonna witness, how is this? My head's a little wonky today. I'm feeling just up and trying to wean myself off of antihistamines for my vertigo. And so that's also making me a little nervous and uncomfortable. And so I'm just watching, is it more that I'm afraid of the vertigo? And so that's why I'm feeling like the minor symptoms of vertigo. Or is something really going on today that I'm feeling just that little tiny twinge of vertigo? So I'm not sure how it's going to be to have my head upside down was really the point of that. All right, so I'm going to blanket, not the greatest thing for a downward facing dog. And if you feel like you can walk back to a bit of a down dog, no, that's not doing the trick. So I'm going to come into a child's pose so I can try to stretch through my shoulders the way a down dog would. So you can do that as a puppy pose, a half down dog, in yin, anahata asana. I think it's a difficult pose to stay in for very long, so I don't usually do it as a yin pose. All right, and then let's hold a child's pose. So again, if you want support, you can use anything that's working for you. I'm going to try it without and see what happens. So again, witnessing. What does stress feel like? Am I able to minimize my stress in this pose? Am I able to relax into it? Am I able to play that edge of letting go, even as my stress is feeling, it's like making itself known here? Or is it just this like really uncomfortable, I'm really fighting my instinct here to get out of the pose? So we wanted to really, listen to the body, work with it. So work with it, not fight it. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, child's pose. Knees might be wide, knees might be close together. You might just find that you need something under your head, so maybe you need to bring your arms underneath your head. I'm done. We have a few more seconds here. I'm gonna listen. And I'm gonna shift onto my abdomen. So if you're comfortable there, a couple more breaths. Okay. And then sliding on out onto your belly. And so, right, in child's pose, it can be a very warm pose because we're all curled up in a little ball. And so I started having a hot flash in that little curled up position. So I think for me that was part of what was like, yeah, I know, like, come out of here, right? It's like along with that heat, there's often this little bit of anxiety kind of sensation that comes up. So it was just time to get out of there for me. All right, let's do a little Sphinx pose. So, even on to your forearms. And feet can be wide. If it's too much in your low back, you can shrink down here. Or if your low back's okay, your feet can be close together and you can lift up a bit. And then notice, how is this for you? So for me, this pose tends to be both somewhat agitating and somewhat calming at the same time. So I find this pressure on my abdomen, if my belly's not too full, is a nice calming experience, but there's something about holding this position with my arms and my shoulders that can become a little bit agitating. So this is a pose where I can often work on playing that edge. So as I'm feeling this little bit of sort of agitation, I can work on slowing and deepening my breath. But I'm still going to watch, how am I? Am I okay here? Do I need to come out? And am I benefiting, right? Am I just holding it for the sake of holding it? Because this is just what we do in Yin Yoga? Or do I feel like I'm really getting a benefit out of being here? Maybe looking for any little adjustments that you need to make. Again, assessing how you are here. I'm starting to feel like my shoulder is taking a lot of stress here. And so in holding, I'm able to witness that, right? That there's the muscles are taking some stress in the shoulder. And I think that's part of why this pose is somewhat agitating for me, is that these habitual spots here of tension, I can feel that flaring up. All right, so again, I'm going to slide out here. That was just over 3 minutes. If you're good staying there, we'll stay there a little bit longer. If you're ready to come out, you can come down. You might shift back into a child's pose or just be flat here if you're coming out. Alright, so if you're still there in Sphinx, come on down. Take a couple of breaths. Let your head, rest on the floor or on your arms. Alright, so you might pass through a cobra here on your way back up into a seated position. And we're going to try a cobbler's pose. So I don't think I've ever done this in yin. So we're gonna see how this goes. So cobbler's pose, right? We usually do butterfly. And so if that works better for you, come into a butterfly. Your feet push a little farther forward. If you want to try a cobbler's pose, we're going to bring the feet in a little closer. So the soles of the feet are together, and in cobbler's pose, we're pulling them in. And so if you shift where your legs are, you're coming into a butterfly, you're rounding your back, and experience, how does that feel on the legs, on your back? And then what happens if you bring your feet in? So it starts to shift it into the inner leg, the emphasis of the pose. So let's just see how this goes. If it's really uncomfortable, change it. Maybe try a butterfly pose. And you might sit a little more upright here. Maybe holding on to the kind of the toes and lengthening your spine. Or you might decide to lean in a bit. I want to kind of hang up here. I like this sensation of holding the toes, lengthening my spine, warming up my toes that are cold. So temperature too can be these little danger signals to the nervous system. Oh, it's watching a bird just sailing straight across without flapping its wings. So if we're too cold or we're too hot, again, the body sends us these signals of discomfort. And so if we're already, stressed out and uncomfortable, then it just adds to all of the stress. I'm just going to call everything stress. All of the stress, the inflammation, all that stuff in our bodies. So the more comfortable we can make ourselves, the more at ease we can be. So how are you here? How's your stress here in this pose? this pose go. And we're going to shift on back. So maybe slowly letting your feet slide out. Sometimes it just feels so good to come out of the pose. Okay, making your way onto the back. Again, because of my vertigo, my neck issues, I have really come to love having a prop under my head a lot of the time. Especially on the days where I'm feeling just a little off. If I'm feeling a lot off, I don't like being on my back at all. Which is hard for me because I do find being flat on the floor really helpful for my back. All right. So we're just gonna adjust here. I'm gonna take a couple of breaths, experience what this feels like. Does this feel calming? Does it not feel calming? Hopefully it feels calming for you. I can feel a giant. All right, so now that, well, I don't know, we were on the floor before, it's just in a different way. I can feel like a whole lot of cold air coming through. So I'm gonna grab a blanket to put over me here. But we're gonna take it into a twist. So again, depending on what you're feeling, you know, how are you gonna do your twist? I'm thinking today I really want something gentle. So I think I'm just gonna do my knees side by side, right? So feet on the floor, knees basically touching, or you can bring them in. So this will make it a little more intense if your knees are already coming up towards the shoulders rather than away from. So if you need it to be a little more relaxed, let your knees drift farther down from your shoulders. Or if you want a little more intensity, you can try to bring those knees up closer to your shoulders. And they could be somewhere in between there. If you want a deeper twist, twisted roots, crossing your left knee over your right knee. And I'm just feeling like that's just not, like I can tolerate that, but it's just not gonna be a pleasant place to be. All right, so I'm gonna bring my blanket over me. I'm working on, again, keeping my nervous system nice and calm if possible. So if I'm cold, right? So again, that's another reason why we tense up when it's cold, right? We start to tense up to preserve or create body heat. Okay. And then you can have your head on something if that feels good for you, or you can have your head flat. And then just pay attention to, you know, which way do you want to turn your head? Some people can turn their head away from the knees. Usually for me, that's not so great. And then can you let go here? So I'm feeling a lot of tightness in this back shoulder. So I might leave it there or I might move it depending on how intense that really feels. If I feel like I can relax and let some of that tension go and that this is a good spot, I may just leave it there, but it's feeling like maybe that's going to be a little bit too much today. So shift according to what you're feeling. Still cold here. I want to cover up completely. Okay, so we're going to release this side. All right, so yes, we're going to release this side. Go back to the middle. Oh, all right. And then what feels good for you? Do you want legs straight? Do you want knees in? You want to roll around? How's your body feeling now? Right? What's happening with your stress level? What's happening with the level of tension in the body? So just like stress can sneak up on us, relaxation can also kind of sneak in. Right? Even though our minds can be kind of still whirling away, the body can be calming down without our witnessing. So you're just noticing, is that happening for you? Is that not happening for you? So keep looking for what works. All right, so taking it to the other side. So again, how are we going to do your twist? Crossing right knee over your left, or just knees side by side, let them drop. And then if you're chilly, cover up. And then how are your shoulders? How's your neck? So going to the left, my right hip is tighter than my left hip. So going to the left, it's a little harder for my legs to just settle in because this hip kind of pulls this top leg up a bit. So I'm going to just grab onto that with my left hand. Just a little bit of weight. So you might even find, if you have that issue, even just, if you happen to have yoga sandbags, you could use that here, but maybe just even like another folded blanket or a pillow just on top there. Just kind of lay that leg down. As long as that's not causing discomfort, right? So for me, it's, I'm at the point where it just pops up a little bit. So it's not uncomfortable to weigh it down. It's more uncomfortable that it doesn't come down. I feel like I have to hold the leg. I have to kind of engage the muscles to hold the leg. So we're looking for what helps us let go. Alright, and then we're gonna come out of the side. And whatever you feel like you need here. So again, maybe you want to bring knees in, maybe a little in the legs. Oh, feel the floor feels good. Alright. So I was thinking I wanted to go to Happy Baby. Oh, I feel like, oh no, I just need to feet down, lengthen my legs. But if you're feeling like you want Happy Baby, knees in and wide and reach for your feet. Yeah, that's kind of 50-50 for me. I'm not loving that at the moment. I'm going to come back, bring my legs down. So in some ways, I feel like the practice is all leading up to Shavasana. So Shavasana is the final pose where we're still. So in terms of our stress, right, it's like we have to work out the stress. We have to start to calm our nervous systems in order to be still, to get into an even deeper state of relaxation. So Shavasana can be a very difficult pose. So even though we've done this work to release some stress and tension out, it can still be a hard pose. So if you're struggling, shorten it, change, maybe you want to sit instead of be on your back, maybe you want to be on your abdomen instead of your back, maybe you want to be on your side. We're looking for what works for you. So Shavasana really is a short meditation. So this being still, working on letting go. So the whole practice is leading us towards Shavasana. And so hopefully it will help you to relax even a little bit more. Calm the nervous system a little bit more. So a little more weight on the belly. Maybe kind of tucking a blanket in so you feel like you're like your abdomen is protected is really, I think, what that sensation is about. And a little bit of weight and a little bit of kind of tightening around the midsection. And again, notice if you're comfortable, if you're not comfortable. This is a little extra warmth because it is freezing in here now. Right, so typically we do palms up. But if you're cold, your hands are cold, and tuck them in somewhere. So again, where's your stress? What does it feel like? Are you able to let any of it go here? take a deeper breath. Notice how you are. So is there some difference between when we started and now? And so if there is some difference, and it's hard for you to notice, what your symptoms, what the sensations of stress are, if you're feeling calmer, what does that feel? What does that feel like? So it may be easier to recognize calm than stress, or maybe easier to recognize stress than calm. So anything that we can notice about our state, we can just use as information to help take care of ourselves. All right, so if you're coming on up, ooh, chilly. I'm gonna have to do some yang movement, move around a little bit, warm up. Okay, so hands at the heart or on the heart. And so again, how does that feel? What are the different sensations? So lately I'm really liking hands on the heart. And I think that for me that just feels a little more calming and comforting. And like there's this little deeper connection to my inner being with my hands right on the chest here. But you can choose if that's not comfortable for you. Hands at your heart, maybe you want to do hands down. So again, just exploring, does that really, and questioning, does that really feel okay? Is that really my thing to be here? Where do I want to be? What works for me? What's helpful for me? So wherever that is, take a breath. Thank you for being here and sharing in this practice today. Namaste.